thought again about that turtle. I thought again about the expectations of my little girl, who's now 10, but who, when I was being sworn in to the United States Senate, had a choice of whether or not she was going to attend my swearing in or she was going to go on a camping trip with her friends. And I asked her, I said, Nyla, Mama's going to go do this thing. What do you think? She's like, that's good, Mama. You should go and do that. I said, well, don't you want to come? Miss Kamala's going to be there. She said, tell her I said hi.
She is an independent.
I think my daughter and Reverend Warnock's daughter have about as much time and attention for the shenanigans of the United States Senate in each other. But I thought in Chicago about that turtle and about the ease with which my daughter made a decision to go and live her own life. As she was setting a demand and an expectation for the life that she wanted, she made a choice about how she was going to live her own life. And I sat there in Chicago and I wrote her another letter, and I was saying to her, Nyla, we are here in Chicago and Miss Kamala is on her way to be President of the United States. I was speaking it as if it was going to happen. I said she's on her way to be President of the United States, and she's running today so that you can run to be president whenever you are ready. And I came back home and I gave her the letter, and she, very similar to Senator Warnock, said, that's nice, Mama. Ask Ms. Kamala if I could be her vice president right now. But I tell you all of that, NNPA, not to bring you into my family business, but to offer you a little bit of insight into why I said yes to Gavin Newsom, but also why I sat in that boardroom at the LA Sentinel and took up the responsibility with great pleasure of being your champion here in the United States Senate. I tell you those stories to give you a sense of who I am and how I tend to show up on behalf of not just myself, on behalf of not just my daughter, but all of our children, to do everything that we can to give them the kind of vision that they have for their future, to give them the kind of hope, to be dismissive about monumental things that we have never imagined, to give them the courage to dream as big as possible, and to do everything that I can to empower you to write those stories, so that the history that is taught to them is not the history that is written by folks who weren't there. It's not the history that's written by folks who don't know anything about the struggle of how we got there. But the stories that she is going to be able to read because of the work that you have done are the stories that include stories like hers, stories of a little girl whose mother grew up in a small town in Magnolia, Mississippi with one stoplight, who became the president of the largest union in the state of California, who became the first Black woman to lead the largest political organization representing and electing women across this country, who became our nation's third Black woman ever to serve in the United States Senate. You are telling my daughter my story, her history, reminding her not only of where she came from, but pushing her to imagine all that she can be. You do that for our children, and we are so incredibly grateful. And I'm grateful to be able to be a part of the journey and the chapter that we are writing for tomorrow's generations. Thank you all for the recognition. Most importantly, thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Senator LaFonza Butler.
You know, had you not mentioned the fact of Magnolia, Mississippi, I was. Because when we were in that room, I think I said something to you like, I really respect your courage. It takes a lot of courage to do what you do. And we have to know who's in the foxhole with us. So I'm so glad, we're so glad. Publishers, could you stand up again? I don't mean to be redundant, but I want to be respectful. So publishers, if you can stand up again.